Hey everyone, it is Kevin Henry, the founder of the Dental Assistant Nation and host of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Thank you so much for coming back on. I really do appreciate it. Hey, I'm going to pivot a little bit from the episode I had planned originally. You're going to hear that next week. But I had something happen yesterday that kind of made me understand that we need to be talking about something now, this moment. So I'm recording this Sunday morning. You know, I always record and upload an episode sometime during the week to get out on Sundays, and this week is no exception, except the one I had in the can will wait till next week, because yesterday, whenever I opened the mail, I received my evaluations from the Florida Dental Congress. And I just want to thank all of you. If you were in that meeting at the Florida Dental Congress in Orlando, I had such a great time being there. There was such a good energy in that room, and so many great team members, so many great dental assistants that were there to learn, to grow, to get more about themselves. And as I tell my audiences, wherever I am, including, I said this in Florida, I said, I want you to fill out those evaluations because I want to see how I did. And I always want to make sure that I'm doing as good a job as I can as a speaker to help you all have as good a day as you can as those amazing dental assistants that you are. So fill out those evaluations, tell me what I did right, tell me what I did wrong, and I'll be honest, a lot of the reviews from Florida were fantastic, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. But there was one review that caught my eye, and it said, you didn't talk enough about how to actually set those goals for the second half of 2024. And I look back at the presentation, and it's one of those things that, you know, I don't always have presentations scripted. They're very much off the cuff, very much like these podcasts are. None of this is scripted. This is me talking to you like we were having a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever it might be. But whenever they talked about this person, I should say, they wanted more information about how to set goals in 2024, I had to stop for a minute because I think it's really about you all understanding what it is that you want. I think that you have to say, really take that step back and say, I don't want to just go through the day. I don't just want to, exist. I want to actually thrive. I want to actually love what I do. I want to actually move somewhere in my career. And so I want to spend today a little bit just talking about the responsibility it is for you, the listener. The responsibility is for you, the team member, to take that step back and not wait for somebody to say, this is what I expect of you in 2024 and the rest of the year, but for you to step up and say, this is what I want in 2024. This is what I expect of myself in 2024. So I'm not going to tell you what goals you should have. I'm not going to tell you what you should want, because every one of you is different. And I want every one of you to celebrate that individuality, because each of you have different desires when it comes to your professional career. Some of you want to be the best dental assistant that you can be. And absolutely, I cheer you on in that. Some of you want to move to the front desk. Some of you want to go to hygiene school. Some of you want to think about maybe next year doing something else. All of those things are okay. Can we admit that? All of those options are okay. But you can't sit back and wait for somebody to tell you how to get there. You've got to be the one to set forth the plan. You've got to be the one to say, this is where I want to be and this is how I'm going to get there. It's up to you to ask those people in your inner circle how you get there, because no journey is taken by yourself. There are people along the way who should act as your Sherpas. They should act as those guides to let you know, if you want to get from point A to point B, here's the map, and I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to provide assistance, and I'm going to introduce you to somebody else that can help get you to that next step of the journey. But it all starts with us. It all starts with me sitting here and saying, by the end of the year, I hope to have accomplished this. And not even I hope, I want to accomplish this. I will accomplish this. Using those words that really tell us that we're serious about this, to put that inner focus on ourselves and what we can actually do. So I'm going to give you just a couple of pieces of advice today. And the first is, not be afraid of what the future may hold. Now, I know that sounds a little weird for me to start off by saying, but we don't know what the rest of this year is going to hold. We don't know what natural disaster is waiting for us. We don't know what, cataclysmic event, what, social media phenomenon. We don't know anything that's coming the rest of the year. And the only thing that we can actually control is ourselves. The only thing that we can actually control is our reactions to what happens in this world and what we can actually do to either prevent those or to circumvent those, one of the two. Bad things are going to happen. Amazing things are going to happen. But our reaction to both of those will determine a lot of what we do in life. I've told the story on here, and forgive me if you've heard this, but, I'm not a very good golfer. Okay, I'm really not. I live on a golf course here in Colorado, but I'm still not a very good golfer. And every time that I would hit in the sand trap, I would be playing with a group of friends, and I would hit in the sand trap, and I would get so frustrated with myself because I wasn't playing well. And granted, I didn't play that often, so I shouldn't have expected to play well because practice makes perfect, right? Or practice at least makes better. But every time I would hit in the sand trap, I would get frustrated. You'd say those little mumbles under your breath, everything else. And a buddy of mine would come up to me, and his response was always the same. And it was always, look, you're already in the sand trap. It's about how you get out of it now. It's about the return shot, he would say. And there's a lot of us that are in places in our career, in our life, where we don't necessarily want to be. But it's about how we adjust to those and how we move out of those that makes all the difference in the world. So you may feel like this year has been a wash. This year has not been great. There may have been things happen to you personally, professionally, whatever, that have put you behind the 8 ball. You may feel like that you've got a dentist in your practice that isn't listening to you. You've got team members that aren't really supporting you. You feel like that you're the lone person out there, the lone wolf, shall we say. But I'm going to tell you, it's about how you respond to those incidences that make all the difference in the world. If you believe you're defeated, you are. If you believe you're going to overcome, you will. So many times our own mindset lets us know what's coming next. So I want to make sure that you may be in the sand trap right now. How are you going to get out of that? You can't prevent yourself from going in there. You're already there. You've already hit that shot, but it's about the next shot. And whenever I talk about the second half of the year, I always look at that as such a point where we can start over. Everybody looks at New Year's and resolutions and everything else. To me, it's about that second half of the year. We look back at the first 6 months and we say, this is what I've done, or this is what we've done as a practice so far. It may be great. It may be okay. It may not be worth anything. We may be really frustrated with where we are right now. But this second half of the year, we can look and say, these first 6 months, here's what I measure, and I'm going to see what I can do to beat that in the second half of the year. And again, it could have been outstanding, but there's always room for improvement, right? So that's my first thing, is wherever you are right now, it's about your reaction to that. And dental assistants, I will tell you, I've had so many of you come up to me at meetings. You've had so many that have, DM'd me through social media. And you said, I love what you're saying, but it's never going to work in my practice. I hear what you're saying, but my dentist will never go for that. And you know what? That may actually be the case. I never doubt my audience whenever they tell me that. But I also understand that there's always different ways to look at the same issue and try to overcome it. So I never want you to give up until you feel like you have absolutely exhausted all of your resources. And I will tell you, as a business owner, that dentist of yours knows that the second half of the year is important as well. Figure out a way to tap into that. Figure out a way to say, as we improve the practice and we improve the business in the second half of the year, this is how I feel that I can be improved. This is how I feel that I can make a difference in that second half of the year as well. And the second thing that I want to tell you is I want to make sure that you all understand you have the power to make this happen. You are not a pawn on a chessboard. You are absolutely not somebody that just the winds of fate are going to push you back and forth. No. You got in that sand trap. You have the power to get out of it as well. And you have to wrap your head around that. And again, jettison those thoughts of, I'm just a dental assistant. That's never going to change. Nobody's ever going to listen to me. Whatever it is that's holding you back, you've got to take a step out of that shadow in this second half of the year. Whenever we're talking about setting those goals, don't set goals that are easy to obtain. Set goals that are going to make you work. Set goals that are going to get you out of your comfort zone. But set goals that are going to move you forward and allow you to see the power that there is in actually taking those steps out of the shadow and into the light. So we talk about the second half of the year. You have the power. You have the mindset. It's simply a matter of, will you do it? Or are you going to let those little voices say to you, it's never going to change. They won't listen to you. They won't understand. All those little moments, that's where we have to get past. So to that dental assistant out there who told me in Florida I didn't talk enough about the second half of the year, I apologize for that. But I wanted to let all of you know, whether you're in Florida, Colorado, Kansas, I don't care where you are today and you're listening to this. And to all of our overseas listeners, thank you for being a part of this as well. And know, again, I'm coming to South Africa in 6 weeks. I cannot wait to be there. And I hope I'll see you in Pretoria, South Africa at South African Dental Association meeting. There's a lot of things that can keep us from getting to where we want to be. There are a lot of things that will keep us in our place if we let them. But if we really, truly believe that we have the power to change our own fate, to change our own stars, we can make that happen. So I can't tell you what your goals are for the second half of the year, but I can tell you this. You absolutely can reach them if you give yourself the chance to do it. And that's the key message that I wanted to leave with you today. Whatever goals those are, you can do it, but you have to believe in yourself. I'll leave you with one last story. My daughter, as I record this podcast, my daughter and her husband are here at the house, and we're getting ready to go play pickleball and have a great morning together on this Sunday. I'm very, very blessed to have an amazing daughter. I have such a love for her, who she's become as a 26-year-old woman, a doctor of physical therapy. She's just amazing on so many levels. But ever since she was born, and ever since she was young enough to really understand, the one thing that I tried to impress upon her is that I will always be there as her dad to battle for her. I will always be there in her corner to cheer her on. But she has to believe in herself to start the journey. She has to believe in herself to get down the road, because you can have all the fans in the world cheering for you. You can be in the middle of an 80,000 seat stadium and you could be the one at the 50-yard line and everybody in the world's cheering for you and wanting you to sing that song or kick that field goal or whatever it might be. But you got to believe that you can do it. You may have all the talent in the world, but you have to believe that you can do it. And the thing that I always used to tell my daughter is, if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to? And I have told her that so many times through the years. And I will tell you, she's a very confident young woman, and I'm very thankful for that. And I know not all of it was Dad standing back there saying, you have to believe in yourself. But I know that she actually listened and took that advice, and it has changed the trajectory of her life. So today, it's the start of the second half of the year. We're barely into July as I record this. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to? Dental assistants, I believe in you. I know there are a lot of people in this industry who believe in you. I will bet there's some people in your practice who believe in you. And that's great, isn't it? It's really cool. But if you don't believe in yourself, all of us who are cheering you on from the sidelines, all of us who are there to help you, all of us who believe that you can do something, it's not going to matter, because you have to believe that the first step in your journey is the one that you've got to take yourself. Ask those questions. See what resources are out there. Make those goals and then make sure that you understand that you can reach those goals and believe that in your heart. So what goals are ahead for you in the second half of the year? I have no idea. I have an inkling. I've heard some of you who have told me your goals, but I'd love to hear more. You can always drop me a line at kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com. That's my email address. I'd love to know what your goals are for the second half of the year. If there's something that I can do to help you with those goals, absolutely. I would love to do that. And, there's so many good things coming. I want us all to embrace that together. And I also want us all to cheer each other on when those good things happen. So, hey, if you've had a good first half of the year, if you've had a good, start to the second half already, we're only a couple of weeks in, drop me a line, kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com. So I apologize for the audible, but not really, because let's be honest, this is a sorry, not sorry statement coming, okay? So just get ready. I think that timing of that letter yesterday from the Florida Dental Association with those comments, including that one about setting goals in the second half, I don't believe in coincidence. I think that was something that I was supposed to talk about today, and I appreciate you listening as I did. I hope this helped. We will be back next week with my interview that I had planned for today. I promise you're not going to want to miss that. And hey, check back on this past episodes of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. We have so many people on throughout the industry who believe in you, who want to help you take that step forward, and a lot of great resources. So make sure that you're reviewing us, whether you get this on Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you're giving us those 5 stars if you like what you're hearing. Tell your friends about it. Talk about this in those Facebook groups. Whenever the conversation dies down, tell people about other resources that are there specifically for them. And the Dental Assistant Nation, the longest running podcast for dental assistants, is here for them. So cheering you on, knowing great things are ahead, and knowing that shot out of the sand trap is going to be amazing for you. But until next time, it's Kevin Henry, host of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast, and the founder of the Dental Assistant Nation, signing off and wishing you nothing but success ahead.